You know, ladies and gentlemen, I sat around the other day and I thought about why I dislike Olaf mirror matches so much. I first thought it was because both players have global damage, and global damage is only fun when you get to do it. But it's actually not that, I think. I think it's the fact that in an Olaf mirror match, you lose the ability to slow the match down. That's actually one of the things that I appreciate the most whenever I play Olaf. Sure, his global damage is nice and it's a big part of his toolkit, but I enjoy the fact that Olaf gets to take a turn where his opponents really can't do much. They can only really play very defensively. Slows the entire map down. It prevents them from getting captures. It prevents them from getting into position. It prevents them from front shifting. The ability to slow your opponent down is a very underappreciated part of Olaf's toolkit, I think. And in a mirror matchup, that just goes out the window. And that's not a lot of fun. So, you know, I thought to myself, how do I play less Olaf mirrors? Because I think we can all agree in Tier 2 it's one of the most boring matchups. And then I thought, as I queued up for this Live League map, that seemed vaguely familiar, and I was like, oh, I played this map before. Yeah, this is Corroded Climax. I played 2 games against Djus on this map, one of which he casted on his channel. I'll link to it in the video description if you want to check it out. And Djus Senpai once taught me something very cool. If you queue up for a Tier 2 matchup, and you suspect that your opponent is going to pick Olaf, which, I mean, is almost a given on certain maps, mixed base maps, 3+ base maps, big maps, your opponent is most likely going to pick Olaf. And if you suspect this, and you're willing to take a little bit of a gamble, there's a little trick that you can do. Instead of just going into another boring Olaf mirror, you do the Giga Chad thing, and you pick Drake. My bad, let me actually load the right dossier, there we go. You pick Drake. Now, again, this is a gamble because you run the risk of your opponent picking, you know, Max or Eagle, and then suddenly you're a tier behind. But if you're lucky enough and your opponent actually goes with the Olaf pick, you're actually in a very good position right now. Because, of course, one of the things that many people may not know if they haven't played the cartridge is that Olaf is weak to rain. This is something that doesn't really happen much in his tier because Drake is the only rain CO in the game, and Drake is a tier below Olaf, so he doesn't commonly go up against him. But whenever it rains, Olaf treats rain as if it is snow. So he's weak to rain. And this completely changes the dynamic of the matchup, because it means that not only can you cancel out the snow with rain, but, you know, it actually allows you to slow the match down for once. In an Olaf mirror, neither player cares about the snow, but in a Drake versus Olaf matchup, both players care about the opposing CO's weather. So, and I would actually say that Drake is in a pretty good spot here because, again, as long as there's no air units on the map, and that's a big one, you cannot do this if there's airports on the map because Drake's air units are incredibly bad. They recently got nerfed, so they're even more useless now. But if there are no airports on the map, these COs actually become very similar to one another. Neither have any big day-to-day bonuses. You know, naval units don't really matter any. But Drake does have the fuel drain, and I keep saying, people severely underestimate the power of fuel draining in long matches. It may not matter much at first, but as the Typhoons come ticking in, and you keep halving your opponent's fuel reserves, it's eventually going to come to a point where they need to pull back for resupplying, or maybe they even need to build an APC, which means you've earned yourself some value right there, because 5k for an APC is, you know, not great. That's almost a tank that your opponent won't have. So, again, it's a gamble. Don't always do this unless you're sure that your opponent's going to pick Olaf, but if you want to avoid those pesky Olaf mirror matchups, you can do this, and suddenly you have a pretty cool match on your hands, and that's exactly what I'm going to show to you today, this live match on Corroded Climax. So, yeah, I'm up against Eddie444. I think he was like 900 MMR live rated when I fought him, but this is a pretty wild matchup. I really like it. Again, Corroded Climax is a really cool map. I've had some practice playing it right now because I played Djus on it twice. It's a mixed base map. It is a 2-base map, so global damage isn't that good here, but it's still mixed base, which means global damage gets increasingly better on mixed base, kind of similar to how, you know, because you have so many engagements taking place, so many captures all over the map. One of the same reasons why Kindle's so good on maps like this is that there's always captures going on a mixed base map because there's multiple fronts. So global damage tends to interrupt a lot of important captures. And this map, like, it looks small, but actually it feels deceptively big to play on because your units tend to travel over very long distances because you have a very similar layout to Caustic Finale, which is actually, it's like mirrored in an inverted way. And since the bases are actually pretty far apart, the tanks tend to actually travel around the map a lot. Like, there's a lot of tanks going over here, and then they front shift back, and they go back, and there's a lot of movement on this map. And the fuel actually really adds up, and you'll see that happen in this matchup. Now, awbw have this, like, new layout, which allows you to do some cool things, but it also spoils the day, so I have to put this logo over my head. I hope it doesn't bother you too much. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I say we get into the matchup. And what a matchup it is, ladies and gentlemen. Now, one really cool thing that Advanced Wars by Web allows you to do right now is it allows you to show the whole turn, which is actually incredibly cool. I'm obviously not going to do it too much because it's very fast-paced, but it's actually really cool for just getting through the opening of the match. Because, like, at the start of the match, there's not really that much to say. It's mostly just the capture phase. So actually, I think this is really cool. So anyway, I'm obviously not going to do it for the whole matchup, but I thought it was a cool way to just get the first couple of days out of the way. So I opened up a recon because I did this against Deegis as well. I think that recons are insanely strong on this map because if you build a recon, you can actually build a recon way before your opponent gets to afford a tank. Look at my opponent right here. He can respond with a tank, but then the recon can just go back. And even if he responds with a tank, the recon will still get some... it'll probably get some interruptions. So my opponent does open up a tank to respond to my recon. But thanks to the recon, he won't be able to go for these captures right here, which is actually really nice. So I send my recon over here just to block the property, just to be a little bit annoying. Now, one thing that I learned in my matchup with Deegis is that these properties can actually fall very quickly if you're not careful, because it takes a while for the infantry to get there. So if you lose your infantry, you can actually lose both of these properties. It's kind of hard to take them back once that happens. So let's see. My opponent's tank goes south. He builds another tank, but I have another tank up on the north base here to deal with him, so it should be fine. Now, there are harbors on this map. I forgot to mention this, but I don't really see you ever building a black boat or anything like that on this matchup. Like, in theory, if you could get the money for it, a battleship would actually be insane here, because you put a battleship here, you lock down the base. But there's no way you're ever going to get 28k in the matchup like this, not unless you're memeing or already winning. Now here I decided to actually kind of sack my recon a little bit, and this is something I learned from Deegis. So Deegis actually did this against me when we played. He actually sacked a recon to interrupt my capture. And on a map like this, which is kind of like a low eco, it actually can snowball. If you just have one or two properties over your opponent, it can really snowball hard. Because again, this is a low income map, so every property is incredibly important. Now I'm trying to go for this capture on this blue city right here. And this is also kind of a lesson that I kind of should have remembered against Deegis. Once these properties get captured, it's kind of hard to get them back. And in fact, this property, if you focus on interrupting it, can actually stay gray for the whole matchup. So I'm trying to go for this capture here. I think my opponent is going to interrupt it. Let's see what he decides to do. He attacks my recon, which is what, yeah, he actually goes for the interruption here. And this is good by him, actually, because even like he can just build up tank to guard his infantry. But because of the forest right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no, never mind. So even if he builds a tank here, he can still guard the infantry. The forests are particularly annoying on this map. Because the bases are so close, the forests are needed to slow down vehicles. So it can actually be kind of hard to move out here. Like, these forests will really cripple your movement around your bases, but that's necessary on a map like this. But as you can see, my opponent very hell-bent on not letting me capture the city. It's just going to be hard for me to get it. And there's also something scary going on right here, down in the top left. As you can see right here, he's moving 2 infantry up, and that's actually very scary, because if he kills this infantry, he gets both of these cities, and it's very hard for me to take them back. I'll need to send like a recon or something to free them, which is definitely not something that I have the capacity to do here. So here I move out with my tank, I build another tank to chain it, and I pull my unit back, and I just put my tank on top of the city, get a free infantry. It ain't no thing. And here I'm like, okay, you know, the recon is dead anyway, so I'm just gonna damage this infantry. It means that he will take another turn to get the comm tower. Now, because the comm towers are so close, you actually risk both comm towers flipping over to your opponent if you forgo the corner. So again, I really like this map. This map is like the perfect mixed base map, in my opinion. I actually think I like it more than Caustic Finale, because there's like every corner of this map is important to fight in. There are properties here, and your HQs are located here, so if you forgo this corner, you just lose the map. In this corner, you have 2 comm towers, which, if you forgo this corner, you lose both comm towers immediately. It's not like Caustic Finale, where it's almost impossible to take the opponent's comm tower. You can easily flip both. And then you have, like, these corners, and you have this corner right here, which doesn't seem that important, and I'd say out of all the corners, it's probably the least important, but there's still 2 properties here which can fall very easily. So you have to focus on every single corner of this map. Unlike Caustic Finale, where there's only, like, 2 fights in the center, every corner of this map is actually important to fight over. You neglect any one, you're gonna lose a lot of income. So I really like it. It forces you to split up, and because it's only 2 base, you really have to think hard where to send each unit. Like, this map is really a map about important decision making, and I mean that you could say that's the case for every Advanced Wars map, but I think this one doubly so. And the properties are so, like, here I actually decided to go into the mountain and attack. Because again, I don't want to lose this this city right here. And I move in. I really want to go for the comm tower. When I played against Aegis, the Aegis denied my comm tower for like half the match, and it was so frustrating. Fighting with 0 comm towers, man, it's like crawling through the mud sometimes. I really hate it. So day 8 rolls in. See what my opponent decides to do. That was a Mangs infantry. I'm not really sure why I did this. I mean, I guess it prevented him from capping, and because he doesn't have a comm tower yet, he's not going to interrupt it, and I can pull the infantry back, but I don't really know if that was a good move on my end. Maybe not the best. And here he decides to get kind of feisty. He goes in, he attacks my tank, attacks another tank over here, and he actually builds a medium tank, which medium tanks are strong on this map for sure. I mean, but they're a little too slow, I think. It's very easy for me to avoid this medium tank. I can just go where the medium tank is not. It has to go through a lot of forests to get over here. It's just kind of slow. I'm not really sure if I agree with the medium tank tech up. I think if you're gonna tech up on this map, you probably want to go neo tank, because on a map like this, again, you understand what I mean when I say this map feels small, but it's actually deceptively big. The tanks travel over such great distances. I feel like this medium tank is just gonna spend the whole match just chasing after other tanks and not doing anything. But here, I don't want to let him get the city here and down in the down left. I use my infantry to kill his infantry, and I'm not really sure what I was thinking here. Wait, what? Why did I go for this capture? I have no idea why I went for this capture. I have no idea what I was thinking. I really have no idea what I was thinking. There was a reason for it. I mean, we're playing live. You can see our timers up in the top right here. You can see I have 6 minutes here. Wow, I actually have less time than my opponent? What the hell was I doing? I must have thought really hard on this one. I usually have like 20 minutes. My opponent have like 3. Damn, I'm actually lower on time than my opponent. I completely forgot this aspect. Damn. All right, okay, interesting engagement right here from him. I mean, that's fine. I built a mech, but the mech is not going to arrive right away. I guess this is a good play by him, moving the medium tank to apply some pressure. And once again, wow, I'm taking a lot of bad engagements here. Looking back on this replay, I played far worse than I remember. Damn. Yeah, he's kind of clobbering me right now, honestly. Like, he took 2 great engagements here. He got a great engagement over here. I'm about to lose my infantry here. This city is falling because this infantry decided to go south instead of guarding the city. Damn, I played bad this. What the hell am I doing? My goodness. I mean, I know watching your own replay sometimes feel a little jarring, but man, like, I can't believe... What? Okay. You know what? I think maybe I had a plan to try and snatch the HQ. I think that's what I'm doing here. This matchup is like a few weeks old. I'm casting. It's been a few weeks since I played, so I'm kind of looking at it with a fresh set of eyes. But I think my logic right here is I'm just trying to distract him, and I'm seeing if I can go for like a cheeky HQ cap. Because if he, like, for some reason, I don't know, decide to retreat this infantry, or maybe he puts it on the HQ, I can, like, I don't know, attack, pop my power attack, and then go. I really don't know. Like, he definitely needs to be careful here, because this HQ is exposed. And this is what I talked about with this corner right here. You cannot neglect the corners. You will lose your HQ. And the forest will make it difficult for your opponent to actually reach the HQ and interrupt. So you do need to be careful. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear it, but the music was... The add-on music was, like, super low. I hope you haven't heard that all this time. That would have been really annoying. I only heard it just now, so you probably didn't hear it. Alright. Anyway, let's see what my opponent decides to do now. He pulls back, and now the medium tank has arrived. And again, I teched up the Neo. I teched up the Neo because I figured, you know, this is kind of what I like to do when my opponent techs up the medium tank. If I see my opponent tech up the medium tank, I usually go infantry and then I tech up the Neo. Because the Neo wrecks a medium tank any day. It has more reach, it does a ton of damage. Even when the medium tank strikes first, the Neo tank tends to win the engagement. It's very hard to be cost effective against Neo tanks when you only have medium tanks. So, but both our power bars are coming up right now. We're kind of tied on unit count, but I have a lot of injured units. And finally I have a comm tower, which is nice, and this is what I was talking about right here. So I move my Neo tank, but I have to be careful here because Winter Fury is actually right around the corner, and that could actually be really bad. So, but I have a lot of injured tanks, and at least I'm pulling them back for repairs, which is nice. Although you could make the argument actually that repairing units is not what you want to do against global damage. You kind of want to combine them together, because the more units are on the map, the more damage the global damage is going to do. So I actually think I should be combining units together here. Yes, it does reduce your unit count, but it also reduces the amount of damage dealt by the global damage, so might be something to consider. But yeah, I think is he going to pop Winter Fury this turn? Yeah, so this is what I was talking about. It you know, attacks first, still a 6/6 engagement. Value-wise, sure, he dealt more damage than I did, but ooh, I think he actually will go for the Winter Fury. Yes, he did. Okay, interesting. So he pops his Winter Fury. And of course, on paper, this seems pretty solid to do. I mean, he now has a 6 HP medium tank, and I have a 2 HP Neo tank. But of course, the problem with this is that I can just counter the snow immediately. So now I don't have to deal with... Now I don't have to deal with the weather, and he has to deal with the weather for a turn. So yes, I guess looking at this, it was pretty solid of him to pop his Winter Fury like that to get my... But I think it would have been better if he'd killed my Neo tank over it. But I go for my tank engagement. I roll pretty high, and thanks to the mech, I'm able to actually destroy his medium tank and have my Neo tank be here for repairs as well. So... And I actually get 2 pretty good rolls on my 1 HP units right here, which is pretty nice. And I even go for a spec. I think I'm getting a little feisty right here, but I want you to pay attention to fuel reserves right now. And he has another medium tank over here right now, but look at that, 23 fuel. He needs to refuel this thing. He needs to be he needs to take care and place his units on properties to refuel them. And this is what I was talking about with this property right here. It's going to be so hard for me to flip that back. It's so annoying. Like, these properties just never... They just never flip. It's so annoying. And look at that. These 2 properties still gray on day 13, which is kind of crazy. And I just realized, actually, that the day counter seems to have updated itself. So that might actually... I think I can actually remove the spoiler image now. Yeah, look at that. Day 13. How nice. So, at the start of the matchup, this was stuck on the final day count. And it didn't change. I didn't want to spoil the matchup. So I was like, I had to put a spoiler warning over it. But now, for whatever reason, it's updated. I don't know if it was updated in real time. That's kind of crazy. Let's see if it updates to day 14. Oh, well, next turn maybe. Let's do like an instant turn. I want to see what it looks like. That's so cool. Look at that. One more. Dude, that is crazy. I know it's a little confusing, but it looks really cool, doesn't it? So anyway, yeah, now it updates to day 14. That's good. That's good. So yeah, I mean, if you look at the unit count difference, it's kind of insane to look at. I mean, 20 to 12. So, and look at the fuel reserves of this unit. It's 14 fuel on the medium tank, and it's nowhere near a city. It can't really go on the base unless he wants to base lock himself. So he's actually in a lot of trouble right now. But he gets a shot, and I tried to go for a cheeky HQ cap right here. I don't really know why I bothered. It's not like it's gonna matter. But look at this medium tank. It's at 9 fuel, and it's still not in range of a city. If I can somehow get like a tsunami now, I can lock this thing down permanently and force him to build an APC to get it moving again, which would be hilarious. And he's really spamming medium tanks, as you can see, so I'm also building neo tanks. And I say if you're in a position where you have 2 neo tanks to your opponent's 3 medium tanks, you're still in a better position than him. Neo tanks just kind of hard counter medium tanks. Medium tanks can't really do much to them at all, unless you have some kind of CO powers with movement bonuses. Like the only difference, like if you were playing as Jess, I would actually agree with going medium tanks, because then you can pop your power to get movement and then threaten the Neo tank. And I think a Jess like medium tank with a power can definitely take out an enemy Neo tank. But right now, I mean, you can see this Neo tank can just dance out of range of this medium tank and be super annoying, even though he does have 3 of them. But yeah, look at the fuel, man. 9 fuel. He has to get this thing to a city right now, but he can't because this Neo tank is threatening this city. So he has to probably go to this city, which is very slow. So again, the fuel drain actually coming in clutch right now. Now I do have to be a bit careful here. He has infantry threatening the corner. You see, this is what I'm talking about with the corners. There's constant corner battles here, and in fact, my opponent is now neglecting the bottom left corner, which means there are 2 properties up for grabs right here. This is about to become very important, so keep this in mind. But the fighting over this property here continues, and I don't know if I'll ever get it. If I remember correctly, I think we fought over this property all game, and I have to use a Neo tank here to interrupt this capture, which is not great. It is definitely not great. But here, power charge is once again building up. And I'm positioning myself to get attacked by this medium tank right here, but I still think I'll be okay. And this was actually, this was a really big mistake on my part. I don't really know. I think this is like a max roll. Let me actually double check here. I think this was like a max roll. 58. Okay, interesting. So I guess, yeah, this Neo tank had taken a bit of chip damage from the prior engagements. That's why he's able to get it down to 4. Because I was like, that seems like a lot. I thought this would be a 5-7. But yeah, this is kind of bonkers. I think he might actually be able to get his Winter Fury this turn. If he goes for another engagement, yes, he can get it. Oh my goodness. Oh. Honestly, I remember thinking it's probably time to resign now. Like, he has a big unit count disadvantage, but man, that Winter Fury was nasty. And he's still doing a good job interrupting my captures. Of course, I'm still getting these 2, which he's not doing anything about. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, it was an excellent Winter Fury. But he had to pop the Winter Fury first, which means once again, boom, I'm able to cancel out his snow. And look at the fuel on his tanks right now. 4 fuel on this guy. 23 fuel. 33 fuel. Even his infantry is running low. But that allows me to pull back and repair once again. And I combined some of my units together to get another Neo tank. So once again, I'm just repairing. I'm going to spend so much money on repairs this turn. Just look. But sadly, though, I am neglecting the corner. And that allows him to get this property right here. So this is what I'm talking about. The corners, man. Never neglect the corners. This is just a crazy matchup, man. There's so much damage going out on both sides. And once again, I'm not able to get the city. I keep trying to get it, but I'm not getting it. But yeah, look at the amount of money that I just spent right here. I got 7k in the bank. Out of my 18,000 income, I have 7k left because I spend so much money on repairs. What am I doing here? Oh my god, stop it. What are these captures I'm going for? Mang's infantry is real, man. The Aegis Mang's infantry curse is real. I thought I would stop this by now, but I don't know why I keep going for these captures that are not going to work. Here too, I'm going for a bunch of captures that I'm just not going to be able to get. What a match, man. What a match. But yeah, we're on day 19. I have a slight property lead over him right now, but it's still, the match doesn't... And here, actually, I remember this turn. This is devastating, and this is another reason why Neo tanks just are so much better than regular tanks, because at some point you're going to be caught out in the open, and this is going to happen. And this was probably the moment that really turned the match back into my favor. That Winter Fury that he had last time was really devastating. I actually really thought the match was over at that point. But his medium tanks got caught on the open, and now I have a 9 HP Neo tank and a 7 HP Neo tank. But because this is so close to his base, it's still going to be really hard for me to get anything done. Here I am threatening his HQ again, so he wisely attacks my infantry to reduce my capturing power, even though it does mean leaving himself somewhat out in the open. But there are suddenly 3 medium tanks right now here defending, and my Neo tanks are great, but they're weakened, and the Winter Fury is going to come in very soon, so I need to be careful. But I decide to camp down on his HQ, and here on it, yeah, okay, good. I was like, here I should combine, and I did, which is good. Like, this is the right move right here. So if you don't combine here, you run the risk of another Winter Fury just crippling both Neo tanks and killing them. But again, we have actually stabilized our unit count at this point, and we are once again tied on properties. But I am threatening this property, and I am threatening this property. Let's see if is he going to interrupt it again. And here's builds an artillery, and actually I was waiting for the artillery to be built here because the artillery is actually very strong here. Kind of similar to how Caustic Finale has like a corner where an artillery can do great. If you wedge like an artillery here, and you place an infantry here, it's very hard to attack. Very hard to attack into. And yeah, here he really goes hard on my Neo tank. Does not kill it though, which I thought was kind of funny. But he's completely taking control of the corner here right now, which is very sad to see. But he's left his comm tower wide open, so this is, again, the corners, man. You think you won one, you lose another. This is why I love mixed phase. There's so much push and pull going on here. There's never just one front. The front constantly changes. This is why I think mixed phase maps are the best maps in Advanced Wars. I don't think there's any competition. So he cleans up my HQ attack. My HQ attack has now failed. And once he builds the second artillery, I know that I'm not going to be able to defend here. I might as well just pull away and focus my pressure elsewhere. There's just nothing I can do. So, but I do go for the comm tower. He can still interrupt it, but he will lose a tank in doing so. But I'm just moving my... I'm like delaying this city for as long as I can. I know I won't be able to delay it forever. But I know I'll have to push away. And now I'm sending a 5 HP infantry sad. It's going to take about 4 turns for that to capture the city, but it's worth doing, I think. Day 22, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to remind you that live matches have a time limit of 30 days. So at this point, it actually becomes very, very important to interrupt every single capture on the map. This looks like it could be a draw, but it's going to come down. I think this city right here needs to fall. And of course, but here's the thing. Once again, he takes away my capture. It's very important to do that. Yes, it's going to cost him a tank. But I think it's the right thing to do. Now, keep in mind, comm towers, they are... I can never remember if they break ties or if they're treated as properties. I think they are treated as properties for the sake of capture. But I always forget how Advanced Wars by Web does it. I know labs tie, but I think comm towers are actually treated as properties. So once again, he pops his Winter Fury first and does a number on my Neo tank. This seems to be a common trend in this particular matchup. And he had really good Winter Furies, I will give him that. But once again, man, once again, he lets me cancel out his Winter Fury with my array for the 3rd time in a row. And now I actually have a lot of money built up because I didn't build much last turn. And again, just I guess fuel is not a big issue here, but it was in the previous rounds of the matchups at least. But yeah, we're still on 18-18. I'm trying to do what I can to slow down his capture game. And now he's threatening my top corner. So this is about to get very tense right here. And he's doing a very good job defending himself. He really is. We're in day 25. We're still tied for income. And now, at long last, I'm threatening his comm tower once again. But all my infantry are damaged. It's taken forever. And I actually decided to go for this engagement right here. Moving my medium tank down towards his HQ once again. Every single corner being fought over on day 25. Every single corner being relevant to the matchup. And I don't think I'm going to get this. Not with this Neo tank here. And once again, he knows that interrupting captures is what's important right now. It doesn't matter if you sacrifice a tank or two. It's 4 days left, and we're in 18 properties each. And he's about to get... He's threatening this one, and he's threatening this one. And... every infantry matters so much right now. Every single infantry matters. I do a joint cap, which is definitely one you do. And now I'm threatening the bottom right city as well. And I'm finally driving him away in the bottom right corner. And here I actually decide to build a rocket. And the reason I build a rocket is if he attacks here with a Neo tank, I want to be able to kill it. And that's the only way I can kill it is with a rocket. Like I didn't have the money for a Neo, I'm pretty sure. No, I have 18k, so I would have to combine for a Neo. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, yeah, I wouldn't even be able to reach it with a tank. So rocket was the only thing I could build to guard this Neo tank and kill his Neo tank attacking me. I will have to base lock myself, of course, but I need some... Like, here's the thing. I need to kill this Neo. Because I want to combine and get these 2 cities right here. But it looks like, at long last, I'm going to be able to get this property. We're in day 27, ladies and gentlemen, and he just secured the bottom left property. The com tower is about to fall. The rocket kills the Neo tank, which allows me to combine together. And I do not interrupt this in time unless I somehow, oh my god, if I popped a Typhoon, I actually would have interrupted it. But I don't know if I would have had the power charge for that. He pops his Winter Fury for a 4th time, ladies and gentlemen. But I do not think he is able. He's at 19 properties to my 17, but I am... Oh my goodness. I completely forgot how this matchup went. I counter with the Typhoon. 19 out of 17. I interrupt this. I don't know why I didn't just shoot with my rocket. But yeah, now several cities are going to hang right here. And I'm going to get this city as well. And I have both com towers right now, which is actually, you know, it is very nice to get that 20% firepower bonus. But he is at 19 properties right now to my 17. Will I be able to pull this off? Day 29. We got 2 days left, and I capture 1 city. Capture 2 cities. We are now at day 29, ladies and gentlemen. 1 day. Can he get any other cities? It doesn't look like it. I built a submarine. Oh, this was an absolute thrilling matchup, I will say. Like, this was so much fun. And look at the time. We really used our time. I usually have double-digit time at the end of a match, but not this one. I thought long and hard on this one. So yeah, I build the respectful submarine, and I'm just barely able to capture the last property on day 29. So yeah, really cool matchup. I thought this was a lot of fun. I learned a lot from playing Daegis on this map for sure. Woo! Just remember, guys, tier 2 matchup, no airports. Pick Drake. Have fun. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Ba, 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 ba.